Welcome to Live at Lunchtime. PT National lives a life contribution. So this week we're going to be working with the med ball, or if you don't have that at home or at work, you can use a soccer ball instead. We're going to be doing a few leg exercises, then some core exercises and a little bit of chest exercises at the end with some push-ups, that kind of stuff. So I've got Janine with me today and we're going to work through that workout now. We're going to try and do 3 laps all up, and we'll show you some progressions and regressions as well along the way, so you've got plenty of exercises to work with. Okay, so we're going to start with some leg stuff. So I'll get you to grab the med ball for a little bit of weight. I'm just going to demonstrate with the soccer ball, same sort of thing, it's just a little bit lighter, so that's just a regression you can use to start with. Now we're going to start off with just a normal squat, so we're going to go hip width apart, going to switch on our core, so belly button into spine, guts up into the ribs, and we're going to hold the ball nice and close to our chest and just sit back as if we're trying to sit into a chair, and we're trying to get as much range as we can out of that squat. Awesome, so we're going to go 5 more reps like that. Good stuff. Now if you're feeling any knee pain, that kind of thing, it means we're not sitting back into the squat enough and letting the glutes drive the movement. So you might need to actually get a chair that you can sit back onto and help train that movement pattern. All right, now the next one we're going to do, just to make it a little bit different, is a sumo squat. So the toes are going to be kicked out this time, and we're quite a bit wider than hip width. Now the ball is going to still be at chest height, and we're sitting back again, but this time the knees drive wide, following the line of our toes. Awesome. And again, if you are feeling any knee pain or feeling that it's hurting where it shouldn't, we need to be sitting back more, still training that pattern back towards a chair, just like that. All right. Very good. And with this one, breathing out on the way up. Okay, so we're going to make it a little bit harder. We're going to go back to our first one, which is just our normal squat. And this time, we're going to have the ball nice and close to the chest towards the bottom. But as we start squatting up, we're going to go into an overhead press. So it's going to be sitting back, driving through the heels, breathing out, up over the head, back down to the chest. Then we start our next squat, breathing out, nice and high. Awesome. This one's quite good because you're not using a lot of that flexibility through your back. You're able to just pivot through the hips still and work the movement. We're going to show you a quick progression now to make it a little bit harder, and that's where we're going to hold the ball above our head for the full squat, so that on the downward phase of the squat, it's going to be a little bit of back and shoulder flexibility that will limit that movement. So try and keep the arms straight, and if you need to, bring the ball just slightly forward. That's it, and you should feel it through sort of the shoulder blades, down through the lats a little bit as well. That's where it will start to get tight and feel like it's not allowing you to squat as deep, which is fine. It's just a flexibility thing. Right, how's that feeling? Yep. Pretty good? I can feel it, yes. Feel the difference with the flexibility Definitely. Through the shoulders? Awesome. Okay, next one we're going to work into, and be careful with this one because the lunge is quite an advanced movement, but we're going to go chest, ball to the chest, just do a step, walk it back, step forward, and keeping nice and stable through that step there. Pretty good, a little bit of a wobble, but not too bad. Awesome. So if you want to regress the movement, I'll do this one from the side so you can see. We're just going to do a half lunge or a partial lunge rather than the full lunge. And as you start to warm up or as you feel a little bit more confident, you can do the full range that Janine's showing us here. And again, the weight of the ball will make a big difference. So if the med ball is too heavy, just switch over to a soccer ball, that kind of thing. Okay, how's that feeling? Yeah, pretty good? Yeah. Okay, next one we're going to make it a little bit harder again. It's going to be a lunge, overhead press, bring back down, step back and change. Into the next one, up high and change like this. Awesome, and again this is now bringing in that stability and trying to switch on the core a little bit more, just to stop yourself from swaying either side or from feeling like you're going to fall over. It's pretty good form. And again, just keeping the shoulder blades back, keeping that control through the lift. Awesome, and we'll do one more. Was this the leg you started on?
Yeah, I'm right now.
Good, okay, sweet. Evened out. All right, and then we're going to make it harder again. This time, overhead hold, step into our lunge. This is where the core really is important, because if you're not switching on, drawing into the spine and up to the ribs, we're going to really waver and might fall or feel like you're going to fall. So keep that control, very good. That was pretty good form. Does that feel harder having the weight higher above?
Certainly.
Because this is switching our center of gravity, making it a lot higher than it would normally be, and that's why it feels a lot more unstable. That's pretty good. Okay, the last sort of progression we can add to this one, we're going to do a lunge with a rotation now. We're going to switch up and use two different planes of motion. So we're working in the sagittal plane at the moment, doing a forward lunge. Then we're going to use the transverse plane to do a twist. Now, the common error is not knowing which side you should rotate towards. And we're always going to go over the front leg because we're going to be using more core that way. Whereas if we try and drive away from that leg, it'll hit the lower back and it's a little bit more dangerous. So we're going to drive into our step, then rotate over front leg, back to center, and then we can change just like this and rotate. Now with any of the lunge examples or exercises we've shown today, it is a lot easier and a little bit safer to do it as a walking lunge. We're just doing a step lunge because of the space. We don't have a lot of room here to show you, so we're just using the step one. Very good. Okay. And finish there. And then the final one, I will get you to try it with this ball, Janine, because the med ball is a little bit harder. It doesn't bounce as well, but we can do a step, rotate, bounce to catch, and back. And that way we're going to be using a little bit more proprioception and trying to get that mind-muscle connection happening and that coordination between the hands and the eyes. And bounce, perfect. And just control it nice and slow with your movements. Bounce, catch, awesome. And we'll do one more rep. Finish in there. Great. Okay, trade you again. Cool. All right, so that's just a range of exercises we're going to do for the squats and the lunges. That's the leg part of our circuit setup. And basically when we get back around to starting the circuit, we're going to be just doing 2 exercises from each of those versions, and that'll be the exercises we use. So now we're going to move on to some ab exercises. So we'll just take a seat on the mat here. And again, we're just going to show you a few different versions of exercises you can do, and then we'll pick 2 for the circuit and we'll go from there. So first one, pretty easy one. Have you got the med ball with you? So remembering always setting up the core first. So we're drawing the belly button into the spine, lifting the guts up into the ribs, and keeping the chest nice and proud. That'll just put our spine into a neutral position and brace our sort of pelvic floor and transverse abdominis. So we're going to start off just an overhead press, and you can see feet are on the ground. And this is a good one just to practice the movement and start to feel that engagement through the core. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we're going to go 1 foot up. And just remember that you've got to do an even amount of reps per leg. So after, say, 5, you're going to switch to the other leg. Then the full version is going to be both feet up and continue to press. So try that one for me, Janine. Both feet up. And you see a bit of a shake. It's a lot harder, this one, so that's good. Main thing is that the feet are staying quite even. They're not kicking around too much. They're quite controlled. That was good. Okay, the next exercise we're going to have is same variations. We're going to have both feet down, and we're going to do a rotation side to side. We can do the 1 foot versions, exactly the same way, and then the 2 feet version like that. Now the key with the 2 feet version up, where we're doing the rotation, is that your legs aren't swinging like this with it. You want to be trying to stay as close to the center and really controlling that rotation through your obliques. Awesome. All right, now the next one we're going to do, we're going to switch over into a plank position. And we're just going to hold this plank position here. This is the regression. If you want to make it a little bit harder with your med ball, you're actually going to have both hands firmly planted, and you're going to be planking on it like so. And you can see the soccer ball is still strong enough to hold my weight, so you can use that as well for this one. So you're going to try that one. The main thing is setting shoulder blades before we're lifting off our knees. So shoulders set, turn the core on, standing up, and holding that nice strong hold there. Awesome. And then the hardest version, which you can try if you like, Janine, is both feet are going to be on the med ball, and then you're planking on, with your hands on the ground. So I'll hold that to help you set up. So both toes on. See how you go. So set shoulders. You got that? Yeah. Yeah? That's pretty good. That's a tough one there. So if you can't quite get this one, just stick to the both hands on version. All right, back off. Awesome. Good form. That's tough. Feel all right?
Yep, all good.
Okay. And now the last ones we're going to go through are just some upper body or chest exercises, which we'll just throw a little bit of variety in there too. Same thing, med ball or soccer ball is fine for these. First one is going to be quite simple. It's just a push-up on our knees, setting our shoulders back, one hand on the ball, and then after each rep you're going to roll across and do the next rep same way and roll it across. Awesome. It's pretty good. So next version, make it a little bit harder, would just be basically up on our toes with the same movement. And then you're just going to do your push up on your toes, roll it across, push up on your toes. I think you've got a slight shoulder injury, so we won't do this one for you today. Now, next one we're going to try is a push up. You're going to roll forward, roll back, push up. And you're going to do, say, 5 reps out of our 10 on one arm. Then you'll roll it over, push up, forward, 5 reps on the next arm. On your knees is fine for this one. So demonstrate and then roll forward, stretch out, roll back. Perfect. And then just roll over and we'll do the other arm for 2 reps. And roll forward, roll back. Awesome. So that's very good form. That makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, and then just with the med ball to the side now, we'll just do a couple of different push-up variations where we can do on our toes. And what we're going to do is a push-up up into a knee tuck. And that's going to be really engaging the core, trying to drive from the lower core here and really draw in as we pull the knee forward. And the knee version is, so I'll show you the knee version. You're going to stay on your knees for your push-up. Then you'll pop up into the plank position, do your knee tuck, and drop back to our knees. And do our next rep, a knee tuck. And just remember to alternate the leg you're using each rep for this one too. Cool. All right, draw in. Great. Okay, so we'll go back to standing and we can start our circuit. So what we're going to do now is the actual circuit. And the aim is going to be to try and do about 10 to 15 reps of each exercise. And we want to try and do 3 full laps of the circuit. Now we are supersetting the legs first, and it'll be 2 squat variations, followed by 2 lunges, then 2 abs, then 2 of the push-ups. And we're going to rotate and do that 3 times. We'll just demonstrate 1 full round through today, and then we'll do some stretching as well. But at home or at work, you can do the full 3 laps. Okay, so which squat did you like? Did you like the sumo squat, the narrow squat? Do you want to do one of each?
Yeah, maybe one of each.
One of each?
Both, yeah.
And then we're going to do a squat with a press or an overhead hold. What one was better? Overhead hold's good? Okay, so we'll do narrow squat first, and that'll be overhead hold. Then we'll do sumo squat, and we'll do the press version just to get a little bit more movement. All right, so we're going to start off 10 reps, hip width apart, sitting back into that chair. Actually, we're going to do overhead squat. Yeah. Sitting back into the chair. Perfect. And squeezing those shoulder blades together. Yeah, good. Awesome. And breathing out as we drive up through the heels. Good form. So if you're doing this one at home, just remember we are activating our core in every exercise today, because that is what is going to protect your lower back, especially in this exercise where the weight is above our head. It's a little bit more unstable, again, with that center of gravity being so much higher than normal. That was pretty good? Yep. Cool. Now we switch straight into our sumo, and this one we're going to do the press variation. We're going to go overhead and drop into it like this. So nice and low into that one. You'll actually find you get more range in the sumo squat because you are able to get closer to the ground with the feet being wider. And you also hit the adductors a little bit more through the inside of the thigh here. So it's quite a good one if you're trying to hit different muscles or different parts of the quadricep group. And same thing, 10 reps, breathing out on the upward phase. And awesome, great. Now we're going to switch over to the lunge. So let's try, I'll give you this one because we'll do the lunge with the bounce. Okay. And then we'll finish with an overhead lunge just for that instability again. So rotate over the front leg, remembering always to go over that front leg so we're hitting the core, not the lower back. Rotate, press, or throw down I should say. Very good. Just keep that core set nice and strong to keep stable. Form's really good. And you can see Janine's going all the way to the ground, knee to floor. So she's doing the full lunge. We did have that regression of a partial lunge. And you can do these movements with a partial lunge. Again, you'd be just going to a halfway lunge, throw down, catch like that. Okay, there's 2 to go, is it? Yeah. And then I'll switch back with this one. Throw down, great. Okay, and now we're going to go straight into our overhead hold, lunge, back and change. And again, you'll notice straight away that it feels a lot more unstable having our center of gravity higher. But Janine's still doing the full range all the way to the floor with that back knee. something I forgot to mention before was that you're trying to get a 90-degree angle in both knees. So your back knee should be at 90 degrees, along with your front knee, 90 degrees, and we should be sitting back over this back leg, not leaning down or forward. So chest is always proud through that movement. Okay, great. So we're going to go straight into our abs one. So I think we'll start off with a plank hold, just to slow the body down a little bit. So we're going to have both hands on the ball, starting on the knees, setting the shoulders, activating the core, popping up. Very good. And just try and shift your weight over the ball a bit more if you can. Great. Set shoulders. Awesome. And belly button into spine. Can you feel that?
Yep, I can.
Okay. Holding that for 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very good. And let's go into another rotation exercise. We'll do the both feet up with the rotation through there as well. You could see a little bit that Janine had a little bit of a shake going through the shoulders and upper body, which is good. It means that her core is active, and it's also struggling because it's quite a difficult exercise. So working really hard and working really well. Okay, and 10 reps like this. So for this one, we're going to do 10 per side. So we're not going to do the half rep. Cool. How many is that? 7. 10.
Ready to move.
Yeah, so you can see the feet are starting to move a little bit. So what we can do is start with the feet up and maybe drop to 1 foot down. And then that way you can still have that mid-range there, but it's not going to do any damage to your lower back. You're not going to be unsafe through that movement. We've got almost finished soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we do the 10 on the other side?
Did you? Yeah, 10 on the other side as well. Good stuff. Good form. Last one, yeah, and finish there. Cool. Cool. So we just finished our abs exercise. We're going to finish off our last 2 rounds of the push-up ones. So which variations did you like there?
Probably the one on the knees.
On the knees
And
and
then the
roll
roll.
across?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so let's do that one. So we're going to do 10 reps, which will be 5 per arm, rolling across. And just watching that we don't rotate through the hips or lower back during the press down like this, because you'll find with one arm slightly raised, you'll want to rotate through the torso, through the shoulders, and we're trying to keep nice and level, which you're doing really well, so that's great. Hit our 10 reps, and then we'll finish with the roll it forward version of this one. Or do you want to do the knee tuck one?
That's 5, so
Yeah, 5 per arm, yeah?
yeah.
Awesome. So do you want to do the knee tuck version or the roll forward?
We can do the knee tuck.
Knee tucks? All right, so we'll get rid of the ball. So this one's going to be push up on the knees, standing up into the plank position, and then doing a knee tuck, and we're going to do 5 per side. Awesome, knee tuck, good. Again, during that plank hold, we want to keep the shoulders back, the core switched on, so the back is supported and nice and flat. And then during the actual knee tuck, we're trying not to rotate through the hips or through the shoulders, and you're not doing either of those things, you're doing really well. So good form. And we'll just finish off our set. Getting a little bit tired, so it'll be good to get back to the legs when we start round 2. Again, we're not going to demonstrate the next 2 rounds. You can do those ones at home or at work. And if you wanted to switch up the exercises to some of the other options we showed, that's fine as well. Okay, well done. That's good. Tough workout. So that was a quick workout you could do with just a med ball or a soccer ball or any other type of ball like that. To finish off the session, we're going to do some stretching. Now we're going to hit the quads, the hamstrings, hip flexor and abs, and a little bit of chest, because this is all the muscles we were working today. So I'll get you standing up first and we'll do a quick hamstring one. So we're going to have 1 foot in front. You're going to flex your toe up, make it a little bit more of a nerve stretch, and we're going to slide down nice and controlled. And if you can reach your toe and grab hold of your toe, that's good. If not, and you can only get to sort of halfway down your shin, just hold to the back of your leg, and you can just apply a light amount of pressure by pulling on the back of your leg. You can reach your toe, which is great, so good flexibility through the leg there. Okay, we're going to switch legs. Generally, we'll try and hold 15-20 seconds per stretch. And that way you just have enough time to relax and start to cool the body down. Feel pretty good?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Now we're going to go into a quadricep stretch. Easy one is just pulling the heel to our butt. We want to keep our knees nice and close. And then once we're sitting nice and tall, we're actually going to try and pull the knee slightly back and you'll feel it come up into the hip flexor a bit more. If you need to hold onto a wall or a chair or something like that just for balance, you can do that as well. Good stuff. And then we'll switch over, same thing, other leg. So you're going to pull towards the butt, drive the knee down next to the other knee, and then pull behind, like so. And then you'll feel that straight up into the hip flexor and to the top of the quadricep there. Very good. And we're going to do, just for the finish off for the legs, we're going to do an adductor stretch because of those sumo squats. And we're going to take a step wide, drop one knee out, and with the other leg, we're trying to sort of push in on an angle towards the ground, and you just feel it activate the whole way along the leg there, and then you're going to keep your upper body nice and tall, keep your weight over that leg. Then we're going to come back to center, bend the other knee, and same thing, trying to drive down sort of on a diagonal angle towards the ground, and up. Just while we're standing, we'll do our chest stretch. So partner one, elbow to elbow, and you're trying to rotate away. You're not pushing against their arm, you're trying to rotate your upper body away and really open up the chest. Awesome. And for your other arm, I'll just show you how you do so on a wall. So you're going to bring your arm onto the wall here and rotate like so. So you can do that one. And then same thing, we're trying to keep the elbow in line with the shoulder, not too high, not too low, so we can get across the anterior delt and pec muscle there as well. Okay, and last one before we finish up is cobra stretch, just to stretch out the abs. You've probably seen this one over the last few weeks that we've been doing these videos, and mainly we're trying to relax the legs and the glutes, lower back, and really push forward, stretching up through that core. Pretty good, and that'll just stretch out the abdominal muscles, which we were working today in the ab exercises. All right, feeling pretty good?
Feeling great.
Awesome, well done, Janine. Thanks for tuning in for Live at Lunchtime again, and remember to live a life of contribution.